Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks. If you're as excited as I am about what's happening around the Washington Commanders, you already know that this team is on the cusp of something special. Last season was a roller coaster, but overall, it was a significant step forward. The Commanders, under new leadership and with a fresh sense of purpose, managed to come from relative obscurity to nearly making a deep playoff run. They finished with a record that honestly exceeded many expectations, and that's thanks to the grit, talent, and strategic moves made by the coaching staff, players, and front office. And if you've been following the team closely, you know that this offseason has been crucial for shaping the future. The focus now is on building a roster that can not only replicate last year's success but surpass it. Of course, the big headline coming into this offseason was the addition of head coach Dan Quinn, a proven defensive mastermind, and the emergence of young quarterback Jayden Daniels, who showed flashes of brilliance last season. These moves signaled that Washington was serious about competing at the highest level. But as always in the NFL, winning isn't just about coaching or having a talented quarterback. It's about the entire roster, especially the defense, which was a key factor in their recent success. The Commanders' defense last year was pretty solid, but they lost some key pieces in free agency, and that has fans everywhere wondering if the team is going to make some bold moves to fill those gaps. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Recently, Bleacher Report's Matt Holder threw out a suggestion that could shake things up even more. He's advocating for Washington to make a splash in free agency and sign a player who, believe it or not, is a three-time Pro Bowler, Za'Darius Smith. That's right, the veteran pass rusher who has proven himself time and time again in the NFL. The idea is straightforward but powerful. Smith, at 32 years old, still has a lot left in the tank, and adding him to the Commanders' defense could provide exactly what they need to push to the next level. Let's talk about why this makes so much sense. Last year, Washington's defense had some bright spots, but they also faced consistency issues, especially rushing the passer. Dante Fowler, who led the team with 10-5 sacks, left during free agency to join the Dallas Cowboys, which means the Commanders are now looking for someone to fill that production and bring some veteran leadership to the pass rush. And that's where Za'Darius Smith comes into play. After stints with the Green Bay Packers, where he was a dominant force, and more recently with the Cleveland Browns and Detroit Lions, Smith has shown that he still has plenty of juice. In fact, last season, he recorded 9 sacks across his time with Cleveland and Detroit, which is a pretty solid stat line for a player who's been in the league for over a decade. And people might wonder, is he still at his prime? Well, if you watch the tape from last year, it's clear that Smith is still quick, explosive, and smart on the field. He's a disruptive force who can line up on the edge, create pressure, and force turnovers. It's the kind of player that can elevate an entire defense. The fact that he's a 3-time Pro Bowler also speaks volumes about his talent and consistency throughout his career. And considering that the Commanders are trying to maximize their window with Jayden Daniels on his rookie contract, bringing in a veteran like Smith could be exactly the move they need to make that leap into serious playoff contention. Now, it's important to remember that the NFL offseason is always full of surprises. Teams are constantly making moves, and some of the biggest changes come down to the wire. The Commanders have been strategic this offseason, retooling their roster and focusing on building depth at key positions. But adding a player of Za'Darius Smith's caliber isn't just about filling a hole. It's about sending a message to the rest of the league that Washington is serious about competing and winning now. This kind of move can energize the entire team, inspire the younger players, and even put pressure on division rivals like the Philadelphia Eagles and Dallas Cowboys, who are also making big moves of their own. And speaking of the NFC East, let's not forget how competitive this division is. Last year, the Eagles managed to secure the #1 seed in the NFC, and the Cowboys are always lurking, ready to pounce on any mistake. The Giants, too, are quietly rebuilding, and they could be a dark horse. So for Washington, every move counts. They need to find that extra gear, that extra push, and veteran leadership like Za'Darius Smith could be the difference between just making the playoffs and making a real Super Bowl run. Now, some of you might be wondering about the financial side of this. Can the Commanders afford to sign Smith? Well, that's a good question, and it's something the front office will have to weigh carefully. But with the salary cap flexibility they've built up and the potential for restructuring some contracts, a one-year deal for Smith might be within reach. It's a classic NFL move. Bring in a veteran for a short-term boost, see how he fits, and then decide whether to keep him longer term. Plus, the leadership and experience he brings are invaluable, especially for a defense that's still young and developing. In terms of what this could mean on the field, imagine a pass rush that includes Chase Young, Montez Sweat, and Za'Darius Smith. That's a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. The offensive lines in the NFC East are tough, and having multiple pass rushers who can beat blocks and generate pressure can turn games around. It's not just about sacks, it's about how disruptive these players can be, forcing turnovers, hurried throws, and mistakes that can be capitalized on. It's about creating chaos in the backfield and giving the secondary more opportunities to make plays. And let's not forget the locker room impact. A veteran like Smith, who's been through the playoff battles and knows what it takes to win in December and January, can be a huge influence on younger players like Jamin Davis, Chase Young, and even some of the new additions. Leadership is often underrated in NFL teams, but it's a critical ingredient for sustained success. Having someone with Za'Darius's experience and work ethic can elevate the entire defense and even motivate the offense to step up their game. Now, looking ahead, the Commanders have a lot of key dates on their calendar. The NFL draft is coming up, and while they're focusing on a balanced approach, adding depth, possibly drafting a pass rusher or linebacker, they're also eyeing free agents like Smith who can be immediate difference makers. The coaching staff, led by head coach Ron Rivera, has been emphasizing building a versatile, aggressive defense that can adapt to different offensive schemes. And with the right pieces, including someone like Za'Darius Smith, they could be one of the most feared defenses in the league next season. But let's also acknowledge that nothing is guaranteed. Injuries, unexpected setbacks, and even contract negotiations can change the landscape quickly. The NFL is unpredictable, and that's part of what makes it so exciting. Still, the idea of Washington making a move for a three-time Pro Bowler is undoubtedly exciting for fans. It signals that the team is willing to go all in on their championship aspirations, and that's the kind of attitude that can really energize a fan base and instill confidence in the players. As we keep a close eye on the offseason developments, it's clear that the Commanders are in a strong position to make some bold moves. Whether or not Za'Darius Smith signs on the dotted line, the intent is there. The team is looking to improve, to push harder, and to finally take that leap into genuine NFC contenders. And for us fans, it's a thrilling time to be part of the Washington Commanders family. Every piece added, every game played, gets us closer to that Super Bowl dream we're all holding onto. So, as we wrap up this discussion, I want to emphasize how important it is for us to stay engaged and keep supporting the team through every twist and turn of the offseason. The NFL is a league of surprises, and the Commanders are no exception. With the right moves, the right leadership, and a little bit of that Washington grit, this team could surprise everyone. Remember, the future is bright, and the best is yet to come. Keep the faith, stay loud, and let's see how this story unfolds. Because when it comes to the Washington Commanders, every season is a new chapter, and I can't wait to see what they write next. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on the idea of signing Za'Darius Smith? Do you believe he can be the missing piece that takes this defense to the next level? Are you confident that Washington can make a serious push for the playoffs and beyond? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters, not just to us, but to the entire Washington Commanders community. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, insider news, and deep dives into everything happening around the team. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out on any of the action. The NFL offseason is just heating up, and the Commanders are at the center of it all. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and as always, let's go Washington!